How are you doing today? Welcome to the African History Network show. It is Tuesday, July 27th, 2021, and we are live. Today is Tuesday, July 27th. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It's been a very busy day today, covering some of these stories. We had the congressional testimony from 4 Capitol Hill police officers who were there fighting against the insurrectionists on January the 6th. So we'll talk some about that. We'll play some edited comments, some censored comments from them, just because of the language. We're on FCC regulated radio, just because of the language that was used. The testimony, the language used in the testimony was appropriate, but for FCC regulated radio, we have to clean it up. So we're going to talk about that. Officers give emotional testimony at Capitol riot, congressional select committee hearings. And then there was one African-American police officer, Harry Dunn, who talked about racial attacks and being called the N-word by these insurrectionists, these Trump supporters. So we'll discuss that. There was also a piece from the Washington Post by Philip Bump. And I'm going to pull this up here because I monitor about 35 different news sources on a daily basis. This was from the 5-Minute Fix. I get emails from the Washington Post and New York Times from different news sources all day long. But this is the 5-Minute Fix from Philip Bump, who is a white male. But this deals with the testimony today, and it dealt with the racial nature of the attacks on non-white police officers at the insurrection. Okay, this was let me see if we can look. Race was unavoidable. Race was an unavoidable subtext of the January 6th riot. Race was an unavoidable subtext of the January 6th riot. Okay. And this is something that his piece for the Washington Post talks about. So we'll discuss that. And then earlier today, Simone Biles stunned everybody by dropping out of the team competition at the Olympics for gymnastics, team competition. And we're going to talk about this and share an interview that Hoda from TheAHNShow on NBC did. So she dropped out. She dropped out. She said she wanted to protect body and mind. She talked about the pressures of being the best. Now, it's not clear if she will compete in Thursday's individual competition. Everybody's hoping that she does. But it's not clear if she will compete in Thursday's individual competition. But she dropped out of the team competition. So we know the Olympic women's gymnastics team took the silver medal today after she dropped out. Simone Biles said, "Physically, I feel good. I'm in shape." She told Hoda of NBC's Today Show. She said, "Emotionally, it varies on the time and moment. Coming to the Olympics and being head star isn't an easy feat. Coming to the Olympics and being a head star is not an Olympic feat." But she also applauded her teammates on the way they stepped up. She said the girls did well. They stepped up when they needed to. So we're going to share that interview that Hoda did with the women's gymnastics team, especially Simone Biles. Then there's a piece from thegrio.com. So there have been a number of articles written about Simone Biles. I mean, today, written about today, and her dropping out and dealing with trying to preserving her mental health. And this also echoes. This also echoes Naomi as well, who who said she didn't want to do interviews with the media to preserve her mental health as well. So there was a piece from thegrio.com. Simone Biles on Olympic withdrawal, didn't want to risk team medal for my screw ups. And in the, I think it was in this piece here, they cite, they talk about Naomi Osaka as well, who cited mental health, preserving her mental health when it came to doing interviews with the media. So, a lot of people who are not in front of the camera don't understand the pressure of being under the scrutiny of not just the media, but people on social media who don't have 1/100th your talent, but then want to criticize your every move. In the official press release, Simone Biles spoke to reporters about her mental health, being inspired by Naomi Osaka and more, explaining how she chose to protect her body and mind. The Olympian explained. So we'll talk about this as well. It's a good article from thegrio.com. All right, and then I'll share another excerpt of an interview with Bob Moses, civil rights leader, and Bob Moses organized the Freedom Summer in 1964. Freedom Summer in 1964. He was an early member of SNCC, also Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. He helped start the 1964 Mississippi Freedom Summer Project as well. So I'll share an interview that he did. We'll share another segment of an interview that he did, talking about the this one here deals with the organization of Freedom Summer in 1964. All right. Okay, so on the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Because right now it corrects wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So when you control the radius of a man or a woman's thoughts, you can control the circumference of his or her actions, because the mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We deal with current events in history and politics, education, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, relationships, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. Also visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All right. Calling number is 313-778-7600. If you have a quick question or comment, 313-778-7600. If you have a quick question or comment. And also give you an update on our new 10-week online course that I teach on Saturdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. From the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. We'll talk about that class as well. Okay, so I want to go to this article here we'll look at this first one from NBCnews.com. And then I'll go to clip one when we come back from the break, Shakita. All right, so Simone Biles withdraws from team final. U.S. women win silver in gymnastics. Okay, and I was up this morning. Well, I didn't get to bed till about 7 this morning, to tell you the truth. So whatever time the news broke, that's when I got it because I was up. Whatever time the news broke, that's when I got it. And I went to bed for a few hours and got back up and was editing some video. And so I got the news as soon as it broke. Even really, I got it before the breaking news story came on MSNBC. I got the email update about it. But if we look at this piece here from NBC News, and let's look at this here. Just 1 second. All right. Okay. Simone Biles shocked the Olympic world Tuesday when she pulled out of the U.S. team gymnastics finals and said the emotional toll of the Tokyo Games, not a physical injury, prompted her withdrawal. And the emotional toll of the Tokyo Games, not a physical injury, prompted her withdrawal. At first, it was being reported as a physical injury. Okay, but then she was interviewed by Hoda for TheAHNShow and cleared it up and said it was not a physical injury. Okay, we'll deal with this on the other side of the break. You listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation Future Radio. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stand by. Stand by, everybody. How's everybody doing? Share this broadcast on your social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in also. All right, stand by. Everybody doing? Stand by. Back from break in 4 minutes. All right, how's everybody doing? Share this broadcast on your social media platforms. We'll be back from break in a few minutes. Be back from break in 3 minutes. Stand by. Back from break in should be 2 minutes. Back from break in 1 minute. All right. We have Kush. We have JR Doug 28. Becky. Stand by.
First station, Detroit's only African-American talk radio.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Tuesday, July 27th, 2021, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing well. All right. We're broadcasting on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, and our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, Imhotep. And I'm going to go back to the story here dealing with Simone Biles and dropping out of the team competition, citing preserving her mental health and the pressures of being the star of the Tokyo Olympic Games, and dealing with all of that. So let's go back to, I want to go back to this article here from, let's go back to the article from NBC News. Okay, this piece is Simone Biles withdrawals from team final. U.S. women win silver in gymnastics. So she said that. So originally, it was reported, initially reported that it was a injury, but it wasn't sure what type of injury. Speculations were being made on one of her dismounts. She kind of landed a little awkwardly. People thought it was that, but that wasn't the case. Even the initial tweet from Inside Gymnastics. Well, let me see. There was an original tweet from USA Gymnastics that said she withdrew because of a medical issue. Okay, and if we look here, I'm on USA Gymnastics Twitter page right now. And if we look at this tweet, that's what initially was the reason. But then after the interview with her, it came out that it wasn't due to a physical injury. So this was from, let's see, what does it give it time? Okay. This was an initial tweet from USA Gymnastics. Official statement, quote, Simone Biles has withdrawn from the team final competition due to a medical issue. She will be assessed daily to determine medical clearance for future competitions. Thinking of you, Simone. All right. So that was the original. And let me see something here. Let's give it time. Okay. So that's like 8:07 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 8:07 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then after the media interview, especially with the TheAHNShow, then we found out that it was not a medical injury. Okay. So if we go back here to this piece from NBC News, she said, physically, I feel good. I'm in shape. She said, emotionally, it varies on the time and moment. Coming to the Olympics and being head star isn't an easy feat. Now, she explained further to NBC's Andrea Joyce that her struggle was more mental, and we're just dealing with a couple of things internally. Okay, her struggle was more mental, and we're just dealing with a couple of things internally, end quote. She went on to say, but the girls did well. They stepped up when they needed to. Now, after Simone Biles' departure, the U.S. women's gymnastics team won silver. Biles later wrote in an Instagram post, Olympic silver medalists, I'm so proud of these girls. And I think we have the post right here. Yeah, let's look at the actual, this is the Instagram post here. So we see the young, so they're adults, so I kind of feel awkward calling them girls, but that's what they call them. But I mean, they're in their 20s, they're women, but they call them girls. So I haven't figured that one out yet. But anyway, she said, I'm so proud of these girls. That's what she called them right here. You girls are incredibly brave and talented. I'll forever be inspired by your determination to not give up and fight through adversity. They stepped up. Hold on. They stepped up when I couldn't. They stepped up when I couldn't. Thanks for being there for me and having my back. Forever love y'all. Okay, so that's from Simone Biles. Follow her on Instagram also. So we see them there with their silver medals. Okay, we see them here with their silver medals. I want to go to this clip here let's go to the interview from to Today Show NBC. Hoda spoke with the actual, spoke with Simone Biles and the female gymnastics team. Let's go to this clip, Shakita.
At the Gymnastics Center, and boy, Savannah and Craig, what a shocking morning it was. I mean, I don't know anybody who could have seen this thing coming. The women's team final turned on its head after Simone Biles withdrew.
Yeah, it was a stunner. No one saw it coming. This is not how we thought this night would go. Of course, we'll see how it all unfolded on primetime tonight on NBC. Simone Biles withdrawing from the competition in a stunner. And she confirmed to NBC Sports' Andrea Joyce just moments after the competition that it was not a physical injury that kept her out of the competition tonight. She said, I feel fine physically. It's more mental. It has to do with something internal. And then just moments ago, Hoda, you sat down with Simone and the team.
Yeah, it was really something. I mean, I have to say, Savannah, it was so weird because everybody is in such great spirits, which really speaks to the essence of this team. And just to recap, in case people are getting up and going like, what happened? Simone Biles started off on her first event. It was the vault. Everyone was watching her. She did a flip, and it looked like she landed in a funky way, and I wasn't sure, like, did she hurt her ankle, or was she just disappointed with her vault? We couldn't tell. She grabbed her sweat. She went off to the trainer. She came back a few minutes later, spoke to her team, and said she was withdrawing from this competition. I mean, it left her team reeling. Simone said they were crying, in fact, because they were like, what are we going to do now? Well, you know what they did. They stepped up to the plate, and they got a silver medal, which was pretty incredible. And Simone turned into, like, the team coach/cheerleader. It was incredible. So as I was waiting for them to come through the mix zone, which is after they play, you know, the anthem of Russia, who won, they came walking through, and I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I didn't know. I said, are they going to be upset? Are they going to be happy? What's going to be the tone? Well, you take a judge for yourself. Take a look. We love you. I just have to say, I was kind of like shocked up in the audience. I was watching you on that first ball. I wasn't sure if you were wincing because you were in pain or you were wincing because something happened. Or first, just tell me you're okay.
Yes, I'm okay. Just super frustrated how the night played out, but super proud of these girls that stepped up and did what they needed to do, and now we're Olympic silver medalists, so it's something that they'll cherish forever.
You know, we're shining stars. You stepped up.
We hope America still loves us.
I assure you something, America loves you more. America loves you more today after what happened, because it's incredible to watch you guys step up. But just set people at ease, Simone, just for a minute, because people go to when they don't know, they go to the crazy end of like, oh my God, something's terribly wrong.
Right.
But where would you put yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of how you're feeling physically and emotionally?
Physically, I feel good. I'm in shape. Emotionally, that kind of varies on the time and the moment, you know, coming here to the Olympics and being the head star of the Olympics is not an easy feat. So we're just trying to take it one day at a time, and we'll see.
Okay. Well, you feel up. I hope you feel up. Because today we said that you proved that you're a winner today, maybe more than any other day. I watched you get the chalk for everybody. I watched you cheer. I watched you dance with Jordan. I watched you.
Thank you.
Jordan, you were on that beam. You were like, excuse me, everybody. Make room. It's time for Dick Jordan. You came through like, I mean, did you even surprise yourself?
I honestly did, considering what had happened a few days ago, but I honestly, at that moment in time, I knew I had to put my feet into her shoes and show the world that no matter what happens, that we can all take a place of somebody who's also great. And, you know, it was mind-blowing. I was just very happy that after my series, I was on the beat. I was like, oh my God, I was screaming. Yeah, everybody.
You had the meat of your life you. We watched you compete. I felt your dad's presence, even though he wasn't in the room. I know you guys probably all felt that pressure. Like now we have to not just perform, we have to overperform. What was that feeling like?
It was very emotional. You know, there was times where I was like breaking down on the arena, but I pulled myself together and I knew what I needed to do. And I'm just really proud of all three of us because we really did step up to the plate when we needed to. And I probably wouldn't have it any other way. It's really hard losing a teammate, especially someone so amazing. So
You killed it great.
thank
You
you.
killed it. You had amazing grace. Amazing grace. You better do this. Amazing grace. Did you just come in with confidence?
Yeah, I mean, I just knew that we needed to have a really good day, and we all did. I think they really stepped up and showed people what we were made of. We fought till the end.
And lastly, one last thing, thank you though. Simone, did you tell everybody, your teammates, because I know they were shocked when this happened.
They were freaking out. They were like crying, and I was like, you guys need to relax. You're going to be fine without me. Go out there, you kick some butt just like you've done in training, and just lay it out on the floor and see what happens.
You kind of became a coach.
I did. I kind of like that a little bit more. I think I'm going to say that now.
Simone, do we will see on Thursday, or how you feeling?
We're going to take it day by day, and we're just going to see.
Okay, good. I love you.
I love you.
I love you. I love you. We're so proud of you.
Thank you.
We love you. All right, guys. Thank you. We'll see you Thursday. Okay, love you. Bye, guys. See you. I mean, look at them. Look at them. Are they not incredible? Like, blew me away. It was they just blew me away. Anyway, I think that Simone to be in that kind of spirit was pretty remarkable to me, and to see all the rest of the gymnasts like rally like that. You know, they had that eye of the tiger. Like, it's up to us now, and they proved what they could do. I mean, and they were a 10+. So I told them, they said, does America still love us? I was like, are you kidding me? Like, America loves you more. So, you know, come on.
Well, they stepped up in a big way in a really, really tough moment, Hoda. Thank you so much.
All right. So that's Hoda reporting from Tokyo for the Today Show, NBC, for NBC. So, you know, it's a lot of pressure that all the women are dealing with, especially Simone Biles. If we go back to the article from NBC News, and I want to look at the one from the Griot. We'll probably talk about this some tomorrow, because this, you know, really ties into mental health and mental health issues, preserving mental health. And Naomi Osaka, who actually was also eliminated today. I think it was the day she was eliminated. You know, I think all this is connected. So we know the Russian Olympic team, women's Russian Olympic team for gymnastics, won the gold. U.S. won silver, and the British won bronze. Now, if we go back and look here at the article, so the U.S. was hoping to clinch its third straight championship with a strong team, with Simone Biles leading. Now, a statement from the U.S. Gymnastics originally said Simone Biles withdrew due to a medical issue, and said she will be assessed daily to determine medical clearance for future competitions, because she's supposed to compete in the individual competition on Thursday. But Simone Biles' coach later told NBC that physically she is fine, but she is done for tonight. Okay, she's done for tonight. Now, though shaky on some by her standards, Simone Biles had qualified for all finals and was expected to go on to compete in individual all-around floor exercise, beam, uneven bars, and vault. Hoda asked Simone Biles if viewers can expect to see her in Thursday's individual all-around competition, where she is the defending champion. She said, "We're going to take it day by day. We're just gonna see," she said. So the let me see here. There was a, all right, let me look at the let me flip over to the piece from thegriot.com, because with the griot, they talk about more mental health when it comes to African Americans and African American women. This piece here from the griot: Simone Biles on Olympics withdrawal. Quote, didn't want to risk team medal for my screw ups. Didn't want to risk team medal for my screw ups. Let's see, let me scroll down here. So in the official press conference, Biles spoke to reporters about her mental health, being inspired by Naomi Osaka and more, explaining how she chose to protect her, quote, body and mind. Let me blow this up. How she chose to protect her body and mind. The Olympian explained. She said, quote, whenever you get in a high stress situation, you kind of freak out. I have to focus on my mental health and not jeopardize my health and well-being. I have to focus on my mental health and not jeopardize my health and well-being. She went on to say, I felt like it would be better to take a back seat. I didn't want to risk the team a medal because they worked way too hard for my screw-ups. I didn't want to risk the team a medal because they worked way too hard for my screw-ups. Now, and I'm going to try to close out some of these ads. There was a article that I posted a couple of days ago from the Undefeated. I'm going to go there in just a second, because it deals with when Black women are not good enough, when you're the best, but you're not good enough. Putting mental health first in sports seems to be a common theme this year, as tennis star Naomi Osaka pulled herself out of the French Open to protect her peace as well. Simone Biles cited Naomi Osaka as, quote, an inspiration, end quote, related to her decision this morning, relaying that while her and the entire team are athletes, they are also, quote unquote, people. They are also, quote unquote, people, and there's more to life than just gymnastics, end quote. All right. And she posted a white heart to her fans on Twitter today after withdrawing from the team competition. So check out this piece here from thegriot.com. Simone Biles on Olympics withdrawal, quote, didn't want to risk team medal for my screw ups. All right. This is by Jared Alexander for the Griot. Now, there was a piece, I posted this a few days ago, and it got a ton of response. And we posted this on our fan page, the African History Network. And I think, I can't remember how many likes it got. This is from the undefeated.com. And let me, this right over here. We'll pull this one up. What's the name of that article? It dealt with when Black women are punished for being the best. When Black women are punished for being the best. That's the name of the article. So there were two moves that were banned by the Olympic Committee, female gymnastics. And Simone Biles is the only person that can do these two moves. And this is something that this piece talks about. This is by Denny Michelle Norris, Denne. think it's pronounced Denny, Michelle Norris. When black women are punished for being the best. Okay, I'm just going to share an excerpt because this is a long article. But you see all this come together and you see the tremendous pressure. And I understand there's money involved and there's money, there's a difference between the money you earn from winning a gold medal and a silver medal. She's already won 4 gold medals. She's doing commercials for Visa. She's doing commercials. I forgot which food company she's doing commercials for. So she's a hot commodity. Sha'Carri Richardson she probably lost about $10 million for using marijuana. I understand the circumstances. We dealt with that here on this show. And we went through and looked at I showed you the rules regarding marijuana usage and the regulations from the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, as well as the World Anti-Doping Agency. But if we look at this piece here quickly, then we're going to go to clip 2, Shakita, from CBS News. When black women are punished for being the best, and as I said, with Sha'Carri Richardson, I understand the circumstances. She's dealing with the passing of her mother, and she used marijuana pures once. She hadn't failed a drug test before. So I understand the circumstances. Go back and watch our broadcast dealing with that, where I go through and break down the whole regulations dealing with using marijuana in the prior to Olympic competitions. Simone Biles and Surya Bonally, Bonally, are peerless, but the judges penalize rather than exalt their athleticism. Okay. So in this piece here, and it's kind of technical dealing with the moves that she does in gymnastics, but the first 2 paragraphs, it says Simone, now this is from July 23rd. Okay. July 23rd. So this is the day this is the day of the opening ceremony for the Olympics. It says Simone Biles, widely considered the greatest gymnast of all time, has made a career of mastering skills that no other woman dares to try. In fact, she's done this 5 times. She will likely perform 3 of the 4 skills that are named the Biles at the 2020 Summer Games in Tokyo, as well as her new vault. So we know, they were supposed to have the games last year, but they had to cancel them because of COVID. Summer Games in Tokyo, as well as her new vault, the Yoshinko double pike, which will then become the 5th Biles. She has advanced the technical side of gymnastics in unprecedented ways, yet 2 of her skills are undervalued by the code of points. In other words, she will not get quick credit for their difficulty in competition. The Federation of International Gymnastics, FIG, okay, I ain't come up with that acronym, okay. The Federation of International Gymnastics claims it wants to dissuade lesser gymnasts from trying such difficult skills and sustaining injuries. Okay, so she is so good, she can do these techniques. She can do these dismounts. She can do the Yoshinko double pike. She can do these moves that no other gymnast can do. So the Federation of International Gymnastics bans these moves that only she can do because they don't want lesser gymnasts to injure themselves trying to compete with Simone Biles and trying to do these moves, or come up with their own moves that may be as equally as difficult. The Federation of International Gymnastics claims it wants to dissuade lesser gymnasts from trying such difficult skills and sustaining injuries. But it's beginning to look like a pattern in subjective, largely white-dominated sports. The policing of Black women's bodies, limiting how far ahead of the field they can actually be. The policing of Black women's bodies, limiting how far ahead of the field they can actually be. The injustice made me think, so the writer, Denny Michelle Norris, goes on to say, the injustice made me think of an earlier pioneer. Surya Bonali was the Olympian's name, Surya Bonali. Denny says, I was 12 years old when I watched Surya Bonali do a backflip in the 1998 Olympic Games. I was 6 weeks into my first round of skating lessons. And at that point, she was the only figure skater I had seen on TV who looked like me. When Surya replaced a planned triple Lutz with a backflip, and a second later finished her program with her back to the judges, she thrilled the audience and the TV commentators, but she was penalized for performing the illegal skill and dropped out of medal competition. It was dropped out of medal contention. The official reason given by the International Skating Union as to why backflips are illegal is because they are landed on 2 feet and therefore can't be considered a jump. The backflip she does is a step out, meaning that she splits her legs while flipping upside down. One leg lands in front of the other, and she quite literally steps out. In her post-Olympic career, Surya Bonali would hold her 1 foot landing and pause before jumping into a triple salchow. It takes a perfect landing, the right speed and momentum, and the right placement of body weight to successfully execute a triple jump from the landing of any previous skill, let alone a backflip. And I don't think I've ever seen Bonali miss. Yet, despite her obvious talent, Surya Bonali was consistently underscored by judges. Simone Biles, like Surya, is also a dark-skinned Black woman in a sport that is traditionally defined by a Russian balletic or ballet-like skinny white woman. Okay, aesthetic. That's what you're dealing with, right? Her body is built differently than these white girls. Let's just be honest, okay? So the traditional body in gymnasts for female gymnastics is a thin, straight body line, okay? A thin white woman's body. It's some of the same. It's criticism that Serena and Venus got in tennis, because their bodies are built, especially Serena, their bodies built differently than a lot of the skinny girls they were competing against. But Simone and Surya, both women, are powerfully built and naturally muscular, yet neither possess the long, lean elegance of former champions such as Nancy Kerrigan and Nastia Liukin. Neither moves like a ballerina, though toward the end of her career, Surya tried to incorporate a more classic aesthetic into her skating, choosing music by composers such as Antonio Vivaldi and Camille Saint-Saëns. Simone Biles, on the other hand, doesn't seem too concerned about appealing to a more classical sensibility. Okay. So read the rest of this article. It's an extensive article here from The Undefeated. When you go through and you look at these different pieces here, and there's some more we'll probably look at tomorrow. But you go through and look at these different pieces, and then you look at the mental health component of it and the pressure that they're dealing with. And we can see the same thing with Naomi. I mean, let's be honest. When Naomi beat Serena Williams, it was like a lot of African Americans didn't want to acknowledge that Naomi's black. They said, "Oh, she's Japanese." Well, she's half black also. Okay. So check this piece out here from The Undefeated. Let's go to this piece here from. I'm gonna go quickly to this clip from CBS News. This deals with the congressional hearing today, dealing with the January 6th insurrection with the Trump supporters. Let's go to this clip, Shakita.
Testimony in day one of the investigation into the deadly assault on the U.S. Capitol. A House panel heard from 4 officers who defended the building from a violent mob of pro-Trump supporters. Well, we learned today that some officers were attacked with racial slurs. We want to warn you that the video is graphic and disturbing. Here is CBS's Chris Van Cleve.
In dramatic and gut-wrenching testimony, 4 police officers described what felt like medieval battle, fighting inch by inch to repel an angry mob of Trump supporters intent on breaching the Capitol on January 6th.
I heard chanting from some in the crowd, "Get his gun," and kill him with his own gun. I could feel myself losing oxygen and recall thinking to myself, this is how I'm going to die.
At worst, he dragged out into the crowd and lynched. As video of what officers experienced rolled, Capitol Police Sergeant Aquilino Gunell wiped tears from his eyes. DC officer Michael Fanone comforted the Iraq War veteran.
You hear former President Trump say, quote, "It was a loving crowd. There was a lot of love in the crowd." How does that make you feel?
It's upsetting. It's a pathetic excuse for his behavior. I'm still...
All right, I guess we're out of time. All right, we're going to continue. Those watching on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, and our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP. Keep watching here on Facebook and YouTube. We're going to keep going to finish up the rest of that clip. Be sure to visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can register for my new 10-week online course from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. This class meets on Saturdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a 10-week online course. Click on register here. It takes you to the next page, and then just click on enroll. You can register for the online course. We do the class live. All the sessions are recorded. You can go back and watch it over and over again. As soon as you register, you can watch class number 1. Remember, right now it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace. All right, stand by. Stand by. How's everybody doing? Okay. If you want to support the African History Network, you can do so through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App. Also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show, paypal.me/the AHN Show, or at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. If you do it through YouTube, we appreciate that, but YouTube takes 33% of the donation, and also they only pay out once a month. So here's our official Cash App account, $ the AHN show, SHOW, through Cash App. And these other ones here are fake African History Network Cash App accounts. Ours is $ the AHN show, SHOW, and it shows my name there, Michael, and it shows my picture also. All right. I'll post a link here so you can register for our 10-week online course. Also, and when you register for it, you get the first 3 classes of the other online course I teach, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Okay. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. That's the first online course. And that one deals with thousands of years of history. And this new one picks up where the first one leaves off. All right, let's look at, let me see here. So there's a good article from NBC News. Black police officer gives emotional account of racial attacks from January 6th mob. Those words are weapons, Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn said of the racial slurs hurled at him by pro-Trump rioters. I don't think Donald Trump has chastised his supporters for using racial epithets like that. I don't think he has. Find that interesting. He said there was a lot of love there. Maybe there's a lot of love for white supremacy there. I think maybe that's what he meant. He said there's a lot of love. And there's a lot of love for white supremacy. So let me pull up this piece here from CBS News. That's the clip I was sharing with you before. We ran out of time on 9:10 a.m. Let's see, where is that? Okay, officers give emotional testimony at Capitol Riot Select Committee hearing. Let me pull this up here. All right, so while that queues up, let me get that up. So Saturday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. would be class number 2 of from the Civil War to Black Power and the civil rights from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power. Class number 2 will be Saturday, July 31st. All right, I'm trying to. Okay, where's this clip? All right, while that queues up. I'm waiting for that to queue up. Okay, so in class number 1, we talked about some of the history leading up to the Civil War, and the Civil War starting in 1860. The Civil War starting in 1861. Okay. Civil War started in 1861, and some of the events leading up to the Civil War. Harriet Beecher Stowe writing Uncle Tom's Cabin in 1852, Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854, Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. You have the 1854, you have the Republican Party being formed in 1854. You have Abraham Lincoln becoming president-elect of the Republican Party, November 1860. You have South Carolina seceding from the Union, December 20th, 1860, becoming the first state to secede from the Union. You have 6 other states that are going to secede from the Union going into 1861 before the Civil War starts, and you're going to have 4 others that follow. And you're going to have the Civil War that starts April 12th, 1861 with the attack on Fort Sumter in South Carolina. All right, let's go to this clip here.
We're going to turn now to that emotional testimony in day one of the investigation into the deadly assault on the U.S. Capitol. A House panel heard from 4 officers who defended the building from a violent mob of pro-Trump supporters. Well, we learned today that some officers were attacked with racial slurs. We want to warn you that the video is graphic and disturbing. Here is CBS's Chris Van Cleve.
In dramatic and gut-wrenching testimony, 4 police officers described what felt like medieval battle, fighting inch by inch to repel an angry mob of Trump supporters intent on breaching the Capitol on January 6th.
I heard chanting from some in the crowd, "Get his gun," and kill him with his own gun. I could feel myself losing oxygen and recall thinking to myself, this is how I'm going to die.
At worst, be dragged out into the crowd and lynched.
As video of what officers experienced rolled, Capitol Police Sergeant Aquilino Gunell wiped tears from his eyes. DC officer Michael Imhotep comforted the Iraq War veteran.
You hear former President Trump say, quote, "It was a loving crowd. There was a lot of love in the crowd." How does that make you feel?
It's upsetting. It's a pathetic excuse for his behavior. I'm still recovering from those hugs and kisses. It was his supporter that he sent them over to the Capitol that day.
Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn remains haunted by the racial slurs hurled at him like fists by rioters.
One woman in a pink MAGA shirt yelled, "Hear that, guys? This nigga voted for Joe Biden." In the crowd, perhaps around 20 people, joined in screaming, "Ooh, nigga."
But the crowd hurled more than words. 165 of the 540 arrested so far are charged with assaulting, resisting, or impeding police. The officers expressed frustration over GOP lawmakers downplaying the attack.
The indifference shown to my colleagues is disgraceful, but nothing, truly nothing, has prepared me to address those elected members of our government who continue to deny the events of that day.
But ahead of the hearing, top House Republicans directed blame without evidence on Speaker Pelosi, not former President Trump.
The American people deserve to know the truth, that Nancy Pelosi bears responsibility.
Congressman Adam Kinzinger, one of 2 Republicans on the 9-member committee, fought back tears as he thanked the 4 men.
We are all Americans today. We thank you for holding that line.
Chris joins us now. It's sickening to hear what many of these officers went through. And I know the officers were asked what questions they want the committee to answer by the end of this investigation. What did they say that they want to know?
Lenora, they implored the panel to find the truth and to determine if anybody in power had a role in inciting the violence that they found themselves surrounded by. Liz Cheney said she wants the panel to look at every minute that went on at the White House that day, every meeting, every phone call before and during the attack. Nora?
Chris Van Cleve, thank you.
All right. So that is from CBS News. Check this out. Check out this article out from CBS News. Officers give emotional testimony at Capitol riot select committee hearing. Okay. And you have of the 540 people who have been arrested, 165 people are charged with assaulting, resisting, or impeding police. Officers give emotional testimony at Capitol riot select committee hearing. Okay, this is from CBS News, cbsnews.com. So check out this article. So there are going to be a lot of convictions, especially for the most serious offenders. There are going to be a lot of convictions. You have people who are waiting trial who are in jail right now, and they've been in jail for months also. So anybody that doesn't think that these people are going to be held accountable, that means you really don't, you haven't been paying attention to what's going on. There have been 200,000 tips that have come in to the FBI, digital tips. So they're going through a ton of information, building these cases. You have 540 people who've been arrested, and they're being charged. So it's expected that the trials will go into 2022. It's expected the trials will go into 2022 because the DC courthouse that the DC courthouse where these trials are being held, okay, the amount of trials that they're going to have, the amount of cases that they have is double the amount of trials that usually are held at this DC courthouse. And then on top of that, this courthouse is dealing with a backlog of cases due to coronavirus, because a lot of courts shut down when the coronavirus is at its peak, or they had like strict limitations which slow down how many cases they can get through. They may have to do something again. They're dealing with also limitations in how many people can be in the court because of coronavirus, and now with the Delta variant, because a lot of people stopped social distancing and wearing masks and things like that too soon. Now we see the surging, and we see it surging basically in all 50 states. As we go into fall and winter, it's going to be even more severe as we go into fall and winter. The reason why is because in the fall and winter, viruses tend to spread more because it gets colder outside. People retreat indoors, and they are in closer proximity to one another. So this allows viruses to spread much more than summertime when people are outdoors more. Well, if it's spreading like this during the summer, it's going to spread even more in the fall and winter. Okay, so we have that story. We'll probably hear more about this as well. Look at the piece from NBCnews.com also. Black police officer gives emotional account of racial attacks from January 6th mob. Those words are weapons. Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn said of the racial slurs hurled at him by Trump rioters. Now there was he talks about his experience, and he's a 13-year veteran of the Capitol Police Force. He testified that rioters were nearing a room directly off the House floor. They shouted about having been invited by Trump to stop the steal, prevent congressional affirmation of Joe Biden's victory. He said those rioters said nobody voted for Biden. He said that I'm law enforcement and I do my best to keep politics out of my job. But in this circumstance, I responded, well, I voted for Joe Biden. Does my vote not count? Am I nobody? He asked. He's African American. That prompted a torrent of racial epithets. One foul-mouthed woman wearing a pink MAGA shirt, of course she would, wearing a pink MAGA shirt, said this N-word voted for Joe Biden. Then the crowd, perhaps around 20 people, joined in, saying boo, call him an effing N-word. So read the rest of this. He said, no one ever called me an N-word while wearing the uniform of a Capitol Police officer. Officer Harry Dunn continued, adding that after the riot, he heard from other African-American officers who faced racial abuse from the mob. Quote, one officer told me he had never in his 40-year life had been called an N-word to his face, and that streak ended on January 6th. Yet another black officer later told me he had been confronted by insurrectionists in the Capitol who told him to, quote, put your gun down and we'll show you what kind of N-word you really are. You know, see, this is the type of love that Donald Trump was talking about. Donald Trump was talking about love of white supremacy. That's what he was talking about. He was talking about love of white supremacy. So that's why these traitors that are supporting Trump in the House of Representatives and the Senate and the state legislatures, that's why they have to be voted out of office. That's why they have to be voted out of office, because they're going to continue to carry out Trump's wishes. Many of them think like he does, or they're just cowards. And at the same time, they're blocking bills that we advocate for and are beneficial to African Americans. All right. Once again, if you like this type of information, you can support the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, and then also through PayPal, paypal.me /the AHN Show, paypal.me /the AHN Show, and at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Follow us on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, and my YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP. And we're here 6 days a week. So that helps us to keep doing the research, stay on the air, keep broadcasting, pay some of the bills. And visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can register for my new 10-week online course. We teach this one on Saturdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. From the Civil War to the Civil War to civil rights and Black Power, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. And then when you click on register here to take you to the next page, click on enroll, and you can watch class number 1. It's archived there. You can join us in class live. We do the classes live. All the sessions are recorded, so you can go back and watch them over and over again. We deal with the last year of the Civil War. And actually, class 1, I dealt with some history leading up to the Civil War starting to give some historical context. And then we dealt with 40 Acres and the Mule, Special Field Order number 15, Lincoln being assassinated. We dealt with June 19th, 1865, 13th Amendment being ratified in December 1865. And then we're going to, for class number 2, we're going to go into the Reconstruction era, 1865 to 1877, which is a period of time when we have African Americans acquiring land despite the obstacles. And we also dealt with the land, most of the land being taken back from 40 Acres and a Mule as well. Okay. And I went through in depth and we looked at what was stipulated in Special Field Order number 15 that allocated 400,000 acres of coastal land in South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida to about 40,000 African-American families, okay, of former slaves. So class number 2, we're going to look at the Reconstruction era. This is an era when we're electing African-American men into political office. We're going to elect about 2,000 African-Americans into political office. Some of us are going to acquire land, and, you know, one of the top occupations we had were farmers. You're still dealing with, you know, you still have a lot of us in agriculture in this period of time. And then you're going to have some of us who are going to be sharecroppers as well. But we're going to deal with the Reconstruction era and the Freedmen's Bank and the Freedmen's Bureau and the Compromise of 1877, which was an agreement between the Republicans and the Democrats to allow Rutherford B. Hayes to become the president from the 1876 presidential election because neither Rutherford B. Hayes or Samuel J. Tilden, neither one of them had enough electoral college votes to become president. So this was an agreement to let Rutherford B. Hayes, the Republican, become president. In return, he will remove the Union troops, the remaining Union troops out of the South, which will allow the Democrats to take back over the South, take back the Southern state legislatures, to really impose to the full extent white supremacy on African Americans. And this helps to reduce a lot of the progress we were making. This is the compromise of 1877 that ends the Reconstruction era. Okay, so we'll post a link here. You can register for that online course. All right, we have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's corrects wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And remember, these shows are in audio podcast format also. Wherever you get your audio podcast from, search for the African History Network show. We're on iTunes, iHeartRadio, CastBox, FM Player, TuneIn. And at our website, just click on Listen to Podcasts, and it takes you to our Blog Talk Radio page, blogtalkradio.com/the African History Network show. And you can listen to podcasts there. We have about 1,000 of our podcasts there. All right. Right now, it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.